Recently, I put a new speedometer on the 96 and I made a center bracket to hold it, and I got about 45 miles on it before I started to make Nicky. So I transferred it over to Nicky, but it interferes with the headlight bulb and the wires, so I need to offset it over to the right instead of having it in the center. And what's really cool about this bracket is I got these shouldered Allen bolts with rubber mounts to go right down into the top triple tree, and that lets it move ever so slightly, so it's not completely rigid as it sits there. I had to make a brand new speedometer bracket, and this is how it happened. Previously on the 96, I had created a new mount, and I purchased a speedometer which only has 49 miles on it currently so far. And I wanted it centered. I did a really nice job of it. It's rubber mounted, which is really cool. Pretty stiffly rubber mounted. The only thing is, I wanted it concentric, and it's right in the center, and that's right where the bulb for the headlight centers as well. So it was actually kind of putting a little pressure on it as it's installed. I'm probably not going to go with this. I wanted to have the XR600, and I modified a headlight bulb to fit in there, but as you can see, it sticks out pretty darn far. So I'm going to have to build a new mount for the speedometer, and this time I'm going to have it over on the right side a little bit. And there's another reason for that. I'm going to want to have an on-off switch up on top of the dash here. Kills power to the battery. And I might have to have a hole later for a high beam indicator. I'm going to have to make a new mount. And since I'm waiting for shipments, I may as well do that today. I have to replicate this, but with different dimensions. And luckily I've got a template right here I can use. And I've got some material I can make this out of. Might use that piece. See if I can use that one up. Alright, so here goes speedometer bracket number 2. I've got the original here, and I figure to clear on the top side, right side, to clear leave room for the throttle cables to come through, I can't be more than 2 1/4 inches off center over. And I do have to make room to dive in here around the handlebar mount and the center steering stem, and so on and so forth. Now I'm going to leave a little over here for a switch and stuff, but essentially I just need to move the speedometer over, which means 4 holes are going to be offset on the new one. And I've laid out a grid here on my new piece of aluminum, and I'm going to lay it on here and carefully think about where I'm going to lay out the new cutout for speedometer bracket number 2. I'm moving it to the right, and I have check mark holes that are okay to drill. There's a total of 6 different sizes. I have laid this out more than once, and that's why I have check marks on the proper holes to drill. Let's see about doing it. Yeah, I've got a plate here that has got some holes in it, and speedometer's going to mount here. Center line is right here, speedometer's over here. Okay, so now I gotta cut that out. And I'll have to drill a hole for a switch, and there's room for other stuff. Alright, so there you go. There's a rough cut of that speedometer bracket. Don't ask me how I cut it. I'm not gonna tell. It's a rough cut. I haven't even tried to see if it'll fit yet. The speedometer mount, I've been refining it. And I'd like to have it done and mounted so I can move on with electrical. This is kind of part of the electrical. Okay, so I had to make a new speedometer bracket. I cut it out, drilled some holes. There's a place for a switch, on-off switch. It's gonna go on the bike. There. Alright, so now I can move ahead. I've got a speedometer off to the right, and I've got an on-off switch, which is actually going to kill the ground. Way back at the battery. That disconnects the battery.